In today's video, I want to talk about how to unwind without cannabis, nicotine, alcohol, or the use of substances. And I could sit here in today's video and I could give you a bunch of the same advice that you've heard over and over again. I could say, go meditate, take a shower, go for a walk, read a book. And although those things are in many cases good pieces of advice for people, it's not getting to the root core of the problem that we're trying to solve. Something that we do with our clients, it's a protocol that's 98% effective at getting people sober in 48 hours or less, and it's designed specifically for busy people who are high performers. So if that's you and you wind up liking the advice in today's video, be sure to check out that link in the video description. So when it comes to unwinding, I think the first thing that you have to ask yourself is, what is it that I am trying to unwind from? Because in many cases, you might find that the stress you're trying to unwind from is actually connected to the cannabis substance use. So let's say you're consuming cannabis and you're starting to suffer physical health consequences and mental health consequences. Let's say you're consuming cannabis and it's resulting in a lack of motivation and procrastination. Let's say you're consuming cannabis and it's resulting in declining self-care. All of those negative side effects of cannabis consumption are going to have a very negative real-world impact in your life. So I'm smoking cannabis and now I'm not writing back and responding to emails that need a response in my business. I'm smoking cannabis and I'm not keeping up on duties around the house, keeping the yard clean, keeping the laundry done, duties that me and my wife share together or we source out to someone else to do. But like maybe you're getting behind in the house, getting behind with the kids because of the cannabis consumption. And then all of that stress starts to build up. And then the evening time hits and you're saying, oh my gosh, I just have to unwind. I'm so stressed. I'm so stressed. Well, if you weren't smoking cannabis or consuming it and you were performing at 90 to 100% of your actual potential, would you really feel the urge to unwind as much as you're feeling you need to unwind in the first place? I see this all the time when I'm working with clients inside our protocol. They'll tell me all these different stressors that they're facing in their lives. And in many times, 50% of the stressors could be resolved by simply stopping the consumption of cannabis. They'll be stressed about their relationship problems. They'll be stressed about their physical health problems. They'll be stressed about the business challenges that they're facing, resulting from lack of motivation and procrastination. Just by stopping cannabis use, it's like a miracle. Those stressors start to fade away, and the urge to unwind starts to dissipate. It's no longer so intense. So unwinding without cannabis starts by dismantling your beliefs and your perceived benefits of cannabis substance use in the first place. If we eliminate that, maybe we'll have less that we need to unwind from. Now, step 2, when it comes to unwinding, and this was especially true for me, I'm a very ambitious person. I got a doctorate in chiropractic. That was 8 years of rigorous schooling. I'm an entrepreneur. I've owned several businesses over the course of my 36 years that I've been alive on this earth. I really, really feed off of success. I feed off of friction. I feed off of motion and activity. And cannabis wasn't providing me any of those things. I mean, yeah, it provided me a lot of friction in my life from all the consequences of substance use that I was experiencing. But the reality is, I would work like super, super hard, and society would tell me, you have to take a break, you have to unwind, you got to decompress. And how does society largely unwind and decompress? How does society reward themselves? Oh, you just turned 50. Go eat a bunch of cake, drink a bunch of beer, and give yourself diabetes the next day, right? Like, and I'm saying that not joking. I have family members with diabetes, but like, you get what I'm saying. So, oh, you worked so hard today. Go have a beer. Go have a smoke. You deserve it. I started to learn that the days I felt worst were the days that I was focused on unwinding. If you gave me a really busy day, I was physically active, I crushed it at work, treated a lot of patients, got a lot done, got up to speed on all my emails, and I was rocking and rolling. I was in the flow state of my business and personal life. I had no desire to unwind. Yes, I would be fatigued Yes, I might be tired at the end of the day, but I didn't feel the urge to try and distract myself or try and, as so many people call it, escape at the end of the day. I always tell people, if you find yourself saying that you use cannabis to escape, that is a major mindset flaw, because what you're doing is you're giving cannabis the perceived benefit of escapism, when in all reality, what you're actually doing is just distracting yourself from whatever it is you were all wound up about throughout the day. Okay? So I came to learn about myself as kind of a high performance individual. I actually don't like unwinding. I enjoy being wound up. I was just so busy listening to everyone else's opinions of how I had to treat my own life that I got eventually tied into a lot of society's very common behaviors. Drinking alcohol, smoking weed, scrolling social media content, eventually watching porn. Like, unwinding for me is not a healthy thing. And once I recognized that about myself, once I recognized that I actually like being wound up, it was much easier for me to let go of the desire to unwind. Now, with that being said, especially if you're a parent and you got a bunch of kids running around the house, or you are an entrepreneur, you're a business owner, you're a C-suite executive, you're an attorney, a medical doctor, all people that we work with inside our one-on-one programs, yes, you do eventually have to find some way to decompress. But chances are you need to decompress a lot less often than you realize. Now, I could sit here and I could spew out a bunch of different ways for people to decompress, but the reality is, you, the person watching this, is different from me. The things that you find enjoyment in are different from the things that I find enjoyment in. My number one way to decompress, and believe it or not, we've actually helped clients do this, because a lot of people we work with, like I've had a few medical professionals who've wanted to expand into the YouTube space where they've quit weed, and then we've helped them, like, not coached them, but we're like, I've given them pointers on YouTube growth, right? For me, my number one way to unwind is to come home, spend time with the family, get everyone to bed, and then just sit on my computer and edit videos. It puts me in almost like this meditative flow state. I put some music on, I can cut up the clips. I find it extremely therapeutic. Now look, telling you to do that might make no sense because you might hate social media. Telling you to unwind by doing adult coloring books or by meditating, sure, it sounds good, but maybe it has nothing to do with the things that you're trying to accomplish. And this is the major problem with so much advice out there when it comes to unwinding. This is an even bigger problem when you get into the addiction recovery spaces. You wind up in some group meeting, you wind up in a 12-step program or rehab, and you wind up getting advice from people who, one, aren't you, don't know your specific scenario and your specific situation, and two, who aren't qualified to be giving that advice. And many times they're giving it when it's extremely unwarranted. It wasn't even asked for in the first place. And this was a major problem that I ran into on my path to becoming fully recovered from cannabis substance use. So if you're needing help unwinding, it starts with the mindset. It starts with recognizing that cannabis isn't helping you unwind. It's probably just winding you up in another direction. Addiction and all the consequences of addiction, which for you is probably a nice distraction from all the other stuff that you got going on in your life that probably actually needs to be addressed. So seeing cannabis for what it really is, and then acknowledging that maybe you're not a person who needs to unwind. Maybe you enjoy being wound up and you just need to embrace that about yourself and stop listening to everyone else. Sometimes that's the best thing you can do. Now, if today's advice appealed to you and you're a high performance individual, you're a C-suite executive, business owner, attorney, you work in real estate, you're in the medical profession, you're an investor, a consultant, you work in sales, or you're online influencer, celebrity. We've worked with all these people before. We have a program that's 98% effective in helping people quit in less than 48 hours from the comfort and privacy of your own home. A protocol that's not going to provide you with blanket advice that goes out to everyone. A protocol that's specific to your needs and your situation, where I work with you one-on-one directly, trying to figure out what it is exactly you need. If that interests you and you fit that mold, check out the link in the video description. If you don't want to do that, simply follow me into the next video where I talk a little bit about how to manage boredom when quitting the consumption of cannabis, because boredom and the urge to unwind often go hand in hand. Talk soon.